Hello, everybody. This is Christy, and today I wanted to talk to you about the movie Jacob's Ladder. It's a 1990 film starring Tim Robbins, Elizabeth Pena, Danny Aiello, and Patricia Calamber, who played the wife Sarah Singer. Um, the movie goes into the story of Jacob Singer. He's a Vietnam soldier, and there, the movie opens with the soldiers there in Vietnam, and they're saying that the enemy is surrounding them, and they're wondering when they're going to get going on some action. Um, and it shows a couple of the soldiers smoking, and then Tim Robbins enters the scene, and he is, like I said, Jacob Singer, and they call him Doc. His nickname is Doc with all the other soldiers, and they're teasing him about his constant having to go use the restroom. But anyway, the scene quickly deteriorates when it shows them supposedly fighting the enemy, but then all of a sudden you realize that something else more nefarious is going on. I wanted to talk about some of the spiritual elements of this movie. I believe that there's a lot of duality, and then you can see the yin yang going on with Jacob, the good and the evil that is in his mind and his spirit. But the movie being called Jacob's Ladder, that points back to the patriarch Jacob in the Bible, who in Genesis chapter 28, verses 10 through 22, he had a dream where he saw angels ascending and descending from heaven to from the earth to heaven. Also, Jacob's ladder has been pictured as the DNA double helix. The picture that they show us of the double helix, showing, that we are human. And so to me, this is talking about the humanness of Jacob Singer. Jacob, after the chaotic battle scene, you see that he ends up being in a romance with the character Jezzy, aka Jezebel, who's played by Elizabeth Pena. Now, me personally, I did not appreciate so many scenes of Miss Pena's boobies, but anyway, to each their own. But you know who Jezebel is in the Bible, and so the fact that this movie keeps referencing biblical things, it makes you think that there's a more deeper message trying to be presented in this movie. The Jacob's Ladder could also be an example of progress, ascension, um, spiritual progress towards heaven. Um, and again, like I said, there's a lot of biblical references where Jacob tells Lewis, his chiropractor, he says, "You look like an angel." And then at one point, Jacob tells, he asks Lewis, he says, "Am I dead? I don't want to die." And Lewis says something about, "I'll see what I can do about that," as if a human being would have any ability to do anything about that. Um, but anyway, there's a quote where Lewis tells Jacob, "They're freeing your soul." He's talking about these dark entities that Jacob keeps seeing. Um, he was at a party with Jesse, and at the party, it Jesse gets angry with Jacob because he's not really getting into the whole party atmosphere, and so she starts dancing with another person, and next thing you know, you see a serpent's tail coming out, and it's very hot and bothered scene where you understand that there's more sexual going on in this scene than Jacob is comfortable with. But anyway, Louis tells Jacob later, he says, talking about the demons, "They're freeing your soul." So the way I sees it, if you're afraid of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, the devils are really angels freeing you from earth. It's just a matter of how you look at it. That's all. So again, it goes into the duality. Now, as a Christian, to us, these would be um, Kabbalist, Luciferian ideas and principles of duality and um, the whole the demons are actually the ones that help you to ascend. The whole idea of the demons being able to free your soul points back to the belief of Sabbatai Zevi, who declared himself to be the Jewish Messiah. And followers of his cult believed that sin was a way to ascend into heaven. Um, and again, today, these ideas um, of secret societies and Masons have infiltrated into the highest echelons of political power. But anyway, the movie seems to center around Jacob and his life. But I think that Jacob is symbolic of a greater thing going on. As the movie progresses, you see distorted figures and irrational behavior. And again, you see the character of Jacob Singer going from being with Jezebel, and then he wakes up with his wife, Sarah, which is another biblical name. And he tells her that he just had this terrible dream, and he refers to the dream as being like a nightmare. So again, we're seeing the duality. And then we realize that there's some bad people chasing after Jacob, and these bad people are trying to unalive Jacob chasing him in the car. He and his friends, they have a meeting, and he finds out that his friends are going through the same thing. And we realize that these are um, men in black type figures, and they're representative of the government. Government. And anyway, I believe, that the spirits of the soldiers knew something terrible had been done to them, and they're struggling to understand what has happened to them. And in a real life situation, if they are the subjects in a test, like the BZ things that happen in Vietnam, in the real Vietnam, then, these things would want to be kept hush hush. So these soldiers are either dead or dying. They're in the spiritual realm. They're on the Jacob's ladder trying to get to their destination. But anyway, they know something awful has been done to them. And the drug that was put over on these subjects, these soldiers, comrades of Jacob, was called ladder. I can't imagine. Like I said, there's references to a real life testing that happened to our American soldiers. And I just can't imagine being over in a foreign land facing horrific situations that challenge. I mean, these people, these young men, um, were out of their element, facing awful situations that they were unaccustomed to in their American peaceful upbringings. And then, fighting an enemy, but not only that, fighting the enemy that your own people that's supposed to have your best interest, they're putting a drug into your system. And you're, again, like you said, you're in a foreign land, observing all sorts of horrific situations already, and then to have this perpetrated against you, with a mind altering substance, And anyway, in the Bible, we hear about Pharmakia. And Pharmakia is kind of a spiritual thing where people are. So again, the movie points to Pharmakia, and Pharmakia in the Bible refers to medicine or drugs, magic, sorceries, or spells. In the book of Revelation, verse 18, verse 23, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. Thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. And the focus is by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And I think it's interesting that Jacob's Ladder portrays the Vietnam War, because everyone was deceived into that whole situation that commenced with that war. But anyway, it's a good thing every once in a while to review things. Now, like I said, from a Christian standpoint, this movie has a lot of things that are objectionable, but I wanted to be able to go into the movie and understand what spiritual things this movie was trying to give to us. Um, I have said in the past that I think that movies do give us things. I believe that they like to present things to us, and then, most of the time it goes right over our head and we miss what they're trying to tell us. But sometimes we have to look into the deeper nature of things behind all of these stories.